Hello one, hello all. Thank you for coming back to Ghosts of Boyfriends Past with Elizabeth Best and I, Thomas Harris, to give you my full first name. It's a quickie of Ghosts of Boyfriends Past, and you've dealt with a lot of quickies. You poor things.
No, lucky you. How many quickies?
I've had 6 quickies in a row. My life sucks. Deal with it, right? That's all I'm saying. We've gone on holiday. Well, I'm speaking into a microphone, so clearly I'm still doing work for you. So be a little grateful, would you?
Yeah.
But Liz and I needed a break.
Yep.
After 4.5 years.
Yep.
And we're just going to drip
To be honest, we've spent most of the break, and I know that we haven't actually taken the break at time of recording, but we have spent most of the break prepping new content for you and finding basically we've got some plans. We've got some guests that we're booking in, and we're taking a holiday to work harder for you, really.
Elizabeth and I both anxiety-riddled people. So
we can't just do nothing.
We can't actually just go home and relax. So we are working behind the scenes.
Yes.
Elizabeth, if you recall on a minisode, a quickie a while ago, I brought you the first couple of questions from a list of 150 questions to ask on a first date.
Oh yes, and some of them I disagreed with that should be asked at all.
Because I had no intention of us agreeing with each and every one of them.
Good, because that's not what you're getting.
I'm going to throw them at you.
Please, hurl.
And see what you reckon. So the next one down on my hot little list here, and I don't like it. Maybe familiarity has bred contempt for me on this one, but what does your work-life balance look like?
I think that's a half step better than what do you do for work.
It's a bit more fluid.
Because it has like a kind of, and I think that's becoming increasingly more important in the workforce in a post-COVID Gen Z/Z. It always feels so weird saying Gen Z in Australia, but that's its name. Mm-hmm. There is a greater emphasis on work-life balance, and I think that would be good at weeding out people if they were workaholics or lazy assholes. So I am going to disagree in that I quite like that as a first date question, because I think it tells you a lot about, like, if they're a hustle bro, you're going to find out in that question, and I'm instantly going to be like, bye-bye. And
it's I suppose it does. It's interesting to see what they respond to. In regards to, well, after work I do this, to see what they run with. I exercise, or I do this. So it does open the door to furthering. Why the conversation.
Don't you like it?
I don't know. There's something about the interview. Like, I know a first date kind of, for all intents and purposes, is an interview. You're interviewing each other, but there's something about. Maybe I've just come out of job hunting, and there's something. I think about you're still in
interview mode.
There's something about it. Maybe it's too cold for me in the language. I don't know.
I think that these questions only work if they're first dates from like apps or like with people that you don't already know.
Yeah,
like,
a brand new, fresh person.
If it's someone you're already a bit keen on and they're asking what's your work-life balance like, I'd kind of be like, do you know me at all?
Yeah, right.
Have you met me?
Did I leave any impression on you at all? Yeah,
Why are we here?
Maybe it's a bit.
It has to be going in completely cold, like a job interview.
That could be it.
What's next?
What would you do if you had a week off?
Worry that I wasn't being productive enough.
That's an answer. That's a wonderful answer, I think, on a date.
That's what
I would just sit and worry that I'm wasting my life, that I'm wasting my time off.
Yeah. I'd feel guilty that I'm not doing anything, even though I really am badly burnt out and need time off. I think that's a good question.
I like it.
I like it.
It's not a common one that I've heard of before.
No, because it also gives space for imagination as well. Like, I recently had a big chat with my nephew, and I know dates, go with me here, where we talked about if we won a whole bunch of money, we imagined what our amazing mansion would be like, right? And I think asking someone what they'd do if they had like a week, a month, or a year off enables them to then start talking and get really passionate about something that sounds fun and exposes something about who they are at their core.
And I think it's it allows one person to be reminded about something that is sitting at the back of their brain. Oh, I would love to finish that little project. I'd love to knock that, or just, I've got these books. I'd love to get to them.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one. I like it. We shall proceed. When you number 7 on this list of 150 questions, I believe. When you spend time with people, how often are you the one making plans?
See, I know a few people who would have liked to have that question answered before they started dating them. That feels accusatory, but I also want to know. So I feel like I'd want to rephrase it.
It's not a sexy question.
No.
But it is it's sort of important. Like,
I'd be like, are you the plan maker or you the go with the flow kind of person? Like, I'd rephrase it so it doesn't sound like you're checking a box, but the information is what I want.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting because you would like to know early rather than 10 years into a relationship with this person that they know that they don't initiate dates or initiate anything. Good fact-finding question. We'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you feel like you compromise with others?
Again, that's a really harsh interviewee kind of question. I don't like that. I think there are gentler ways to find out if somebody compromises or not. Zane, do you have any thoughts?
Surely you just find that out through conversation on the first date. You don't need to ask a question.
No. Like, I think that's that's just ask them about situations in their life. Like, geez, I don't like that one. We're throwing that one in the bin.
Yep. So what do you think is important for a healthy relationship? That sort of angles at the heart of someone's core beliefs, maybe.
Because a lot of people don't know what a healthy relationship is and might struggle to actually find answers for that.
I think if I was asked that out of the blue without any prep time, and I've been a host on a relationship podcast before, I think I would struggle to answer that question.
Oh, I 100% would say communication straight up.
Yeah, I would have instincts of where to pivot to, but out of the blue, what is a fucking healthy relationship? You're like, I would find myself scrabbling. So maybe prep for that question if that ever comes across your desk.
Healthy relationship. I like it. I think that...
what do you think is important for a healthy relationship?
Yeah, I think that enables people to actually evaluate what they're like looking for on a first date as well. And so if you're not looking for similar things to the other person, whether or not, like, you can both have ideas of a healthy relationship and they can both be healthy, but they might not meet up. So that's a good one to figure that one out as well.
Is there potential for this to be a slow ball for a potential bullshitter to latch on to and go?
All of these questions
I know all questions are, but it's kind of like
healthy relationship is me just like showering you with gifts like every single day and waking up and telling you what a goddess you are.
Love the impression of this person. I don't know their name. Thanks. I don't know much about them, but I love the impression, Liz.
Thanks. I think his name is Chad.
Chad? You've gone for Chad. I want to hear more in the future. Dear readers.
Chad will make a return.
If you please write in Ghosts of Boyfriends Past with your dating stories.
You got a question for Chad?
your questions, your feedback, and your demands for Chad.
I want to know one more question.
How do you handle conflict?
That is a big question for a first date.
And we're sort of working through a list of questions to ask on a first date. Yeah. But to get this out of on a first date without this prep time, without our arena that we're going through, if someone throws that at you, how do you handle conflict?
Not well, fuck, my friend.
Are you anticipating conflict?
The thing is, every single one of these questions, if someone pelted them at me on a date, I would crack a joke, and that might not be well appreciated, but that's just where I fall back on when someone asks me an uncomfortable question. It's either going to be self-deprecation or a joke.
You're uncomfortable by this question, or you uncertain how to answer?
I would want to, because that's a heavy question, and I'd want to lighten the mood, right? So I'd be like, I run away. I don't know.
But that's answering the question at least.
Yeah,
right?
That is answering the question.
I know.
It's like, how do you deal with conflict? I make a joke and smoke bomb.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, that's a great answer. I'm going to use that. That one's in my back pocket. I will use comedy. That's how I handle conflict.
Yeah.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
I think almost all of these questions kind of imply something about you that you are asking them. So like you just said, like, how do you deal with conflict? It's like, are you the kind of person who's going to bring conflict, or are you coming from a place where you've just dealt with a lot of conflict that you need to know this? So like it's going to start
It exposes your baggage real
a little
quick.
bit.
Like it's like, you know, like I don't know.
Would you be turned off or put if someone asked you that on a date? Would you
first date? I'd feel a bit full on. Like I think first date, I want a little. Like I hate small talk, but I also don't want too much big talk unless the night has progressed to a point where you get there, right? So if this is in the first hour, I'm fucking scared. If this is like hour 3, we've gone through 2 bottles of wine and we're talking about the universe and just vibing, then absolutely ask me this question. You know?
I know. I would be. In the interest of fairness, if you're asking it, you have to answer it, right? I'll tell you as long as you're telling me.
Can I tell you one thing?
Oh my god!
I just remembered a thing.
Oh my word.
I like this. I like shitty reality shows, right? Like love them. They're awful.
I don't understand how people can do it.
So there's this show called Love Is Blind, right?
Yes.
And the premise of Love Is Blind is that people are in pods. They don't get to see each other. They get to have dates that last for fucking hours, asking each other questions and getting to know each other. And then at the end of it, they pick someone to marry.
Marry?
Yep.
Good Lord.
I'm not even kidding. And then they go away and spend like a couple of weeks in paradise, and then they go back and spend a couple of weeks in their real life. And then at the altar, they have to decide whether they're going through it or not.
Right. Okay.
Okay. That's the background. The point is, there was this guy on there called... I want to say his name was Matt.
Fucking Matt.
And he had this list of questions, and he was asking, he like literally had a checklist and was asking. And one of the girls went, oh, what about you? Same question. He's like, oh, I really like, that's not what we're doing here. I'm not really prepared to answer that question. I know. I instantly was like, I fucking hate this guy. Like, no, if you ask someone something, you best be willing to answer that question.
Yep.
I was so mad. And then it turns out that he was telling 2 women exactly the same thing and he got his just desserts. But
fucking Matt.
In that first 5 minutes where he was like asking a pretty innocuous question too, and she's like, she's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. What about you? Same question. He's like, oh, I'm not really prepared to answer these questions.
Well, literally anything you ask someone on a date, you should be ready to answer yourself.
Yes.
What do you do for a living?
Yes.
Like, what do you enjoy? Like those kind of...
You can't torture someone and not get tortured back a little bit. No, I'm sorry.
It's like a job interview. They are similar in a ways. You're seeing if you're good matches for each other.
Yeah.
Ask the people questions back to find out if you want to work here. Ask them back if you ask them questions back to find out if you want to date this person.
You can't hold people to a standard that you would not hold yourself to. No. End of story. The end.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
Very succinct and wise advice from Elizabeth Best. I'm Thomas Harris. Zane C. Weber is our wonderful producer. We thank you for tuning in for this raft, this endless sea of quickies, but they're coming to a close. We're coming back
soon.
Not much longer, pets.
Very soon.
All right.
So soon. It's way sooner than you think.
La la la